Okay, the amygdala, the survival aspect of your brain, stores the experience of trauma differently than your cortex. Your cortex stores it as pictures and stories and words and language and memories, where your amygdala stores the experience in a sensational state. And that can be a combination of sensational, as in like tight, tense, anxious. It is a physical experience that happens in the operating systems of your body, typically intertwined with that central nervous system fight, flight, or freeze response. And it also stores it as an emotional state, but it typically doesn't store the trauma with words or pictures. And that is the type of unprocessed, unresolved physical experience that doesn't always make sense because there's not a lot of story attached to it. Or you might be in a situation and be like, there's no reason for me to be feeling in my body the way I'm feeling right now. And this process of expressional meditation is directed at that type of unresolved trauma. It's directed at the physical experience that has been unprocessed in the cells of your being, okay, and in your operating system and in your brain and central nervous system. So this came to me. I had been doing a ton of mental work, and I had been really focused on retraining and repatterning my brain and the thought patterns. And I was doing a lot of meditating to work with and manage the just this chronic anxiety that was always happening within the physical sensations of my body. And so what I found myself doing was, instead of going into my body when I would start to feel uncomfortable sensations, my coping mechanism was to escape my body through meditation, through, getting further out of it. And one day, while I was trying to wrangle in the anxiety, wrestle it, through first my mental, change in my mental pattern, and that didn't work. And then second, through meditation and the escaping of my body, and that wasn't working. I heard, as I was sitting there, trying to calm myself down, your body has a story to tell you, and it's time that you listen to it. And what I realized was that I had been out running and avoiding the aspect of trauma that had not yet been processed physically. So the shadow, the experience of the shadow lives in your mind. No, that's not right. The story of your shadow lives in your mind, but the experience of your shadow lives in your body. And so it is important to not only address the mental aspects of it, it's also important to address the physical, sensational aspects of the interrupted, unprocessed experiences that our body holds as trauma. So in this process, we welcome the story that the body has to tell. Each sensation, each movement, each sound and emotion, thought, every breath, instead of feeling sensations happening physically and pushing them away or trying to mentally overpower them, what we do in this process is we allow them to well up, and we are willing to feel them to their fullest extent. This process is a willingness to feel. And the way that I imagine it in my mind is you know, literally the cellular memory in my physicality that has been locked in trauma that either couldn't be processed due to shock or due to, like just not having the psyche in place or not having the time to process it or the understanding. The cellular memory that is like physically locked into the physical body, I imagine them either like being opened up to be expressed. Like if you think of expression, right? It's sound, it's movement, it's sensations, it's an actual expression. And so I imagine it like as these cells opening up and letting that energy that has been stuck and really has been like pushing on you for your attention to just open up and ride it out to the other side. It's about processing to the other side the stuck or the uninterrupted or the disrupted energy patterns. And it's, an experience in feeling what's happening, as opposed to talking about how you feel, letting the sensations of feelings and emotions and experiences well up and really in the moment consume you, knowing that they will dissipate and like burn out on the other side of it if you know that that's the goal. Like I won't get lost in this. I'm just going to experience what didn't get to be experienced fully and ride it out to the other side. One of the key components to doing this is to have one foot in and one foot out, enough to the point where you have a detachment from what's happening, which means you just allow whatever comes up without judgment. There's really no wrong way to do it. There's no wrong thing that can come up. The process might look different every single time. Your body has an innate knowing of what it needs to express. It just does. It knows where the energy is disrupted. It knows where it's lodged. It knows what it requires as its form of expression. You just have to make the time and the willingness to let it do its thing. So what you will do is you will sit in a comfortable place. You'll get in tune with your breath. You'll start your breathing, and then you will quietly and innately scan your body. So you're scanning for where your attention goes. Is it tight? Is there something that draws your attention? And when you get to the area of your body that draws your attention, what you want to do is you want to notice. You want to notice in sensational words what's going on in that spot. Is it tight? Is it thick? Is it twisted? Is it empty? Is it heavy? Just think of it if you can describe it. Does it have a texture? Does it have a color? And then as you notice in that spot, so it's thick in my chest, it's dark, it's jaggedy. My next question is, what do you want to express here? Speaking to your body, what needs to be expressed here? How would you like to express this? Is it a movement? Is it a sound? Is it an emotion? Is there more? Does it want more breath? And then just breathe and express and allow whatever your body tells you to do. You may find yourself moved to tears, and that may pass. You may find yourself wanting to stretch. You may find that you want to yawn or tremor or shake or cry or cough. Sometimes images will pop into your mind. You will have a memory associated with a certain area of your body. That's fine. There's no wrong way to do that. The other thing is if there were things that you needed to say in the moments of trauma that you didn't get a chance to say, you may find yourself wanting to say things like, this isn't my fault, I hate you, why did you do this? You should have protected. You might say a ton of different things, who knows? I've said a lot of things. But the point is it's the aspect of you that didn't get that experience, the uninterrupted completion of the experience, that is expressing itself, okay? There's nothing wrong with any of the emotions, there's nothing wrong with any of the sensations, and there's nothing wrong with any of the thoughts or the words that come out. It's literally just knowing that this interruption gets to be expressed to the other side, okay? And what this does is, as you're doing this process and as you keep writing it out to the other side, what you're doing is you're allowing those survival systems, you're allowing to your central nervous system to disrupt that sympathetic state that it's been stuck in, and guiding it back into a parasympathetic response, where is the rest and recovery stage instead of in the survival mode. I'm going to follow this with an example. Again, it might look different every single time, and it might feel different every single time. This was something that I did every day, well, 5 to 7 days a week for 22 minutes at a time. I would set my timer. I would just allow my body, thank you for the story you need to tell me, I love you. And then I would just go into the scanning mode and then start processing whatever was there. The other time you can use this process is if you get into that state. If you notice that you are triggered from the amygdala's trauma memory, where you are having a physical response to a situation where there's no imminent or present danger, there's no external explanation as to why you would be in that heightened, like, anxious fight, flight, or freeze state, you can use this process during that time as well. Because basically what you're going to do is interrupt that pattern and that memory system and ride it out back into a parasympathetic resting phase. I've done that before in the middle of like a total trigger. I've excused myself, gone to the restroom, gone to my car, left, and then gone through the process of breathing. What do I notice? What is there? What needs to be expressed? What emotion is there? What is the words that I need to say? What's the movement that I need to make? And until I come through to a state of calm. Shaking and tremoring is a good thing. Everybody, as soon as anybody starts to, these sensations come up and anybody starts to feel something, they tend to want to shut it down immediately. You want to let it consume you with the intention of letting it ride out to the other side. You can face the physical sensations in your body. You've already experienced the thing. It's already happened. It's already over. And whatever's going on physically that is begging for your attention, you can make it through to the other side of that. And as you do, it will have less and less impact on you. And there is a finite amount of unresolved trauma within the physical systems and sensations of your body, I promise. Okay, so the second part will be an example of me doing that. And then I just close my eyes and just breathe. And I just relax my body into wherever I'm sitting. And just take full breaths. You don't have to like breathe in a specific way, but just make sure that you are in fact breathing. So then I start with saying I welcome whatever my body has to share with me for today. Thank you for always protecting me. Thank you for everything that you've done for me. Thank you for being my witness to my life experience and my constant companion. And then I scan as I just keep breathing. And what I notice is in the center of my stomach, it feels hollow. And so I breathe into that spot and I ask it what it would like to express. And what I feel is wanting to move my body and stretch. And so I'm letting my body just sort of move how it wants to. And I'm breathing. And I'm just remembering that there's no right or wrong way to do this, and that it is an innate knowing of what my body wants to do. So I just trust the process. If you haven't done this before, you might end up feeling like, am I making this up? It doesn't matter. So I notice that in my belly, it's starting to feel very soft. And my shoulders are starting to relax. And I'm just naturally coming to, a straighter posture. And so I breathe again. And I notice my left leg. And my left leg wants to do movement. And in my mind, the color blue is very strong. And so I just continue to breathe. I'm very aware of my breath throughout this whole thing. And I'm just letting my left leg move. And it just comes to a natural stopping point. But I notice that my back is curving a little. So I continue to breathe and scan. There's no particular place that I'm drawn to at this moment. I'm just more drawn to movement. Oh, now my awareness goes to like my forehead. And again, the movement is just very natural. In that spot, it feels like staticky, like there's a static there. And it feels rough. And I'm searching through, like, is there a movement? Is there a sound? Is there an emotion? I'm asking, how does this want to be expressed? And it wants to be voiced. I shouldn't have had to do that alone. I shouldn't have had to do that alone. I shouldn't have had to do that alone. And that prompts a nice big breath, and it feels like it's over, and that area of my body feels very open. So then I would just continue to scan again. So go through the process. Where is my attention? What is there sensationally? What does it need to be expressed? Is there an emotion there? Is there a cry, a sound? All of those things. And I would just continue to move through that process again and again until the 22 minutes are up, or if you're using it in a trigger moment, until you come to a place of calm and a place where the physical sensations are no longer operating apart from your mental awareness.